The Ancestral Plane. My name is T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. You see me, and you see a king. You see the suit, the mask, the claws, and you see the Black Panther, a protector, a myth made of flesh and metal. But I want you to see the man. I want you to understand. Before the crown was placed on my head, before the spirit of the panther filled my heart, I was a boy who loved the smell of the earth after a rain. I was a son who looked at his father and saw a mountain so tall, I never believed I could climb it. My father was not just a man, he was Wakanda. His voice was the thunder rolling over the plains. His wisdom was the deep river that gives our land life. He was strong, he was sure. He never seemed to doubt. I have done nothing but doubt. You think this power, this suit, it makes you fearless. No, it only gives you more to be afraid of. It makes the stakes higher. Every choice is not just for you. It is for everyone. For the child playing in the markets of the Golden City. For the warrior standing guard on our borders. For the scientist in my sister's lab, dreaming of a better future. My life was a simple path. I was to learn, to train, to watch my father, and one day to become him. It was a story already written. I just had to walk the steps, and then, in a flash of fire and smoke, in a land that was not my own, that story was torn apart. My father was gone, the mountain was gone, and I was left standing in the shadow where it used to be. They took me to the water, they gave me the heart-shaped herb. You see it as a source of strength, of speed. It is more than that. It is a key. It opens a door. You drink it, and you walk into the past. You stand on the ancestral plane, under a sky of purple and stars you have never seen. And they are there, all of them, the panthers who came before. My father is there. I went to him for guidance. I was a son, lost, wanting his father. But I was also a king, wanting his king. I asked him how to be what he was, how to carry the weight. He told me it was my time. He told me to be a good man, and it would be enough. A good man, what does that mean? For most of my life, I believed it meant protecting my home, only my home. Wakanda was a garden, and the rest of the world was a wilderness full of danger. Our vibranium, our knowledge, it was a treasure. And you do not share your treasure with thieves. You build walls. You hide. You tell the world you are a poor nation of farmers. You let them believe the lie. A good man protects his family. And Wakanda was my family. Was that not enough? I wore the suit. I became the panther. I felt the power. It sings in your blood. It makes you feel like you can stop the sun from setting. And with that power, I hunted the men who killed my father. I was not a king then. I was a son. I was filled with rage. A quiet rage, but it was a fire all the same. I wanted vengeance. Justice was the word I used, but in my heart, I knew it was vengeance. And when I found him, the man responsible, Zemo, he was not a monster. He was just a man broken by his own loss. He had lost his family in the fires of Sokovia. He looked at the powerful, the heroes, the gods walking among men, and he saw the cause of his pain. He wanted to break them, to show the world that they were not perfect. I looked at him, ready to let my claws do their work. And I saw my own face, my own rage, my own pain. He was me, but without a home to protect, without a kingdom to balance his anger. And I realized then, vengeance had consumed him. It would consume me, too. A king cannot be consumed. A king must be the fire that warms his people, not the fire that burns the world. I chose to let him live. I chose justice, not vengeance. I thought that was my test. I thought I had learned the lesson. I thought I understood what it meant to be a good man. I was wrong. That was only the first page of the lesson. The real test came home. It came with a face I did not know, but a name I should have. Najadaka, Eric Stevens, Killmonger. He came to us as an outsider, an American, but he was not. He was our blood. He was the son of my uncle, a child of Wakanda, left behind, abandoned. My father, the mountain, the perfect king, he had made a mistake. He had a brother who saw our paradise and wanted to share its power to liberate our people all over the world. My father saw this as a betrayal. In his fear of what the world would do with our secrets, he confronted his brother, and he killed him. He left his brother's body to be forgotten in a small apartment, thousands of miles from the red soil of his home. And he left his son, a boy, alone with the truth of his father's murder and the lie of his own heritage. This boy grew up in a world that did not want him. He grew up seeing the suffering of his people, a suffering Wakanda could have helped to end. He was told Wakanda was a fairy tale, but he knew it was real. He knew it was his home, and it had turned its back on him. His anger was not like Zemo's. Zemo's anger was born of loss. Eric's anger was born of injustice. It was righteous. It was a fire that had been burning for 20 years, and he brought it to our door. He challenged me for the throne, and he defeated me. In our tradition, the fight is sacred. The challenge is the law. He won. He became king. He became the Black Panther. I was thrown over the waterfall, left for dead. And in that moment, I lost everything. My title, my power, my country, my certainty. But down in the dark and the cold, I found something else. I found humility. For my entire life, I had been a prince. I had been told I was special. I had been protected by the walls of my kingdom and the legacy of my father. I never knew true failure. I never knew true helplessness. Until then, when I was found, when I was healed, I was not the same man. The mountain was not just gone. It had crumbled. I saw the cracks in its foundation. My father was not perfect. He was a man who made a choice out of fear. And his fear created a monster. No, not a monster. His fear created a man with a pain so deep it could drown the world. Eric was right. It is so hard to say those words, but it is the truth. His methods were wrong. His heart was filled with hate. But the seed of it all, the truth he spoke, was right. We had hidden, we had hoarded our gifts while our own people suffered. We were a nation of trillions, letting children starve because we were afraid. What is the point of a garden if you do not share its fruit? What is the point of light if you keep it hidden under a stone? I had to face him again, not just for my throne, but for the soul of my country. This was not a fight of right versus wrong. It was a fight of two ideas. My father's idea of protection through isolation, and Eric's idea of liberation through power. And I realized both were wrong. As we fought, surrounded by the technology of our ancestors, using the power of the Panther, I was not fighting an enemy. I was fighting my own shadow. I was fighting my father's ghost. I was fighting for a third way. He said he wanted to see the sunset in Wakanda. The one his father had told him was the most beautiful in the world. I took him. I let him see it. In his final moments, he looked at that sky, full of orange and gold, and he chose to die. He said he would rather die than be locked away. He wanted to be with his ancestors in the sea. He knew what it was to be in bondage. He chose freedom in death. His life was a tragedy that we had written. I could not hate him. I could only mourn him. I mourned the king he could have been. I mourned the cousin I never knew. I mourned the boy who was left alone in the dark. Standing there, I knew what I had to do. A good man does not hide. A good king does not build walls. A true protector builds bridges. My father was afraid of the world. I would not be. Eric wanted to conquer the world. I would not. I chose to share. I chose to open Wakanda. I went before the world. I stood before them. And I told them the truth. The lie was over. The fear my advisors felt, it was real. Okoye, my general, my friend, she lives by tradition, by duty. She feared this would be our end. And perhaps it will be. The world is not always kind to those who are different, to those who are powerful. But fear cannot be the king of Wakanda anymore. I am T'Challa. I am the son of T'Chaka, but I am not him. His legacy is my foundation, but I must build my own house. I am a king, and my duty is to my people. But I have learned that my people are everywhere. I am the Black Panther, and my hunt is not for vengeance. It is for a better future. I do not know if my choice was the right one. The ancestors are quiet now. The path is no longer written. I am walking in the dark, with only a hope to light the way. But I am not alone. I have my sister, whose mind is a star that shines brighter than any I have seen. I have my mother, whose wisdom is the earth beneath my feet. I have the love of a woman who has always seen the world for what it is, and has never stopped trying to heal it. I have the loyalty of warriors who would die for the idea of Wakanda. The crown is still heavy, the suit is still a burden, and I am still a man who doubts. But I am no longer just a son trying to climb his father's mountain. I am a man who has decided to build a bridge, and I will see who is brave enough to walk across it with me. That is who I am, and that is my story.